sun come out tomorrow. The waves are so pretty.
Scoot over, I'm getting it.
Intelexx here. Welcome to Lifin with Lex, where we talk about a variety of topics surrounding life, because life be lifin', right? Yes, definitely working out to keep the stress level down, because life be lifin' and people will try you. Okay, but don't worry, because there is one thing that we gotta do. And listen, check the message here. Okay, start each day with a grateful heart. Yeah.
Everybody get in the picture, get in the video. Hey, we out here.
Definitely got to be around the family, but you know, self-care is a must. So you need that isolation because, baby, but most importantly, enjoying life, because you only get one, right? And you know, a part of life is building relationships. Definitely got to have that. And definitely got to stay on point with the learning, because knowledge is power. Okay, and not only that, applying it. Yes, that's right. Putting that knowledge to work and doing the work for the greater good. You heard me? Make sure to tune in and tap in to this episode to see what we gonna talk about today. Hello and welcome. Welcome back, y'all. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to another Life on a Lex episode. For those of you who are just tuning in for your first time, welcome. For those who have come back, welcome back. We have a great show for you today. As you can see, I'm in green, so that might give you a hint on what we're talking about today. All right, so this episode is episode 8. We are on our 8th episode, y'all. Woo. And we are going to be talking about health is wealth, but what about the money? What about the money? Right? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little breakdown of my experience when it comes to my relationship with money, how I grew up with it, what I did with it, where I'm at now, and maybe with some tips. All right, so I grew up in what you would consider a middle class, upper class family, household, and I want for nothing. There were periods of time where when I would ask for something, may not have gotten it, right? But that didn't mean we didn't have that. I was just told no. Okay, so what I learned growing up when it came to money was when I got it, to spend it, because that's what I saw, right? Because money was always coming in, it was always going out too. But from a young age, I had always saved up my money. It was to the point where I saved up a few hundred, and I was in elementary school. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it, but I was just saving and saving and saving, because I wanted to have something for myself, something that I called my own, right? So, you know, long story short, that money got stolen and I was heartbroken, but it put me in a mindset to want to have something for emergency purposes or whatever, right? And so it really taught me the value of discipline when it comes to money, to the point where even as an adult, I held on to $1 for a year because I didn't know what to do with it. Now there's so many different options when it comes to having money and investing it properly. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. All right, so as I said, and because it's the topic, health is wealth. When I think about this, it all ties back to the actual relationship that you have with money. The more healthy you are with your relationship with money, the healthier you'll utilize it, and the more wise and more, not necessarily discreet, but the more you'll be conscious about what you're actually spending your money on. So, one of the things that I've done growing up is really looking to different people who got their money together, right? There's people in my family who are wealthy, there's people who are struggling, there's people in between, and I'm pretty sure anybody that's listening in or looking in, tuning in, watching this, you can relate to having seen family members in all aspects of the financial spectrum, if you will. Some people have never seen anyone with a lot of money or with a high economic status. They've always been around people that struggle and make ends meet, living paycheck to paycheck, all of these different things, right? You know, some people have only seen living the high life, you know, generational wealth and wanting for nothing to the extent where you're being left things like a trust fund or different things like that. I've been around people with a lot of money, and I've been around people with little money or no money, and I've been around people who's right in between. So I've had a picture growing up of what I can have. You know, one of the things that I never wanted to do was work for someone else, because I grew up in a household where my family had their own business, and I helped them, you know, in the accounting department. And so it gave me something to look forward to when I got older. Like, oh, I don't have to work for somebody else. I can work for myself. I can do for self, right? And that's the best way to go, honestly, because the way this world is set up now, even if you're working for someone else, that's not a safety net. It's not a guarantee that you're going to stay there forever. They can drop you at any point, and it could be something that you did, or it could be something that they just chose to do in the moment. You know, they might not be making enough as they should, so they're like, oh, we need to do some layoffs. You know, nothing is really stable, but when you have your own, you can manage it to where you can make as much or as little as you want based on your work ethic. So I know that's not for everybody. Everything is not for everybody. But when you really work for yourself and do for yourself, you have the option to really put yourself out there like that. Yeah. So for me, building a healthy relationship when I was younger, seeing how different people manage their money, seeing what I can accomplish, seeing myself in something more than where I was at that time, all helps me to where I am now. Now, I just want to say, disclaimer, I am not where I want to be financially, but I am on my way there. And all of the habits that I've acquired over the years, the things that I've changed over the years, the things that I continue to adopt and apply in my life has either helped me or hindered me. Now, there was a time where I didn't really care about budgeting or managing my money because it was always coming in. Now that I'm older and I have more responsibilities and I want more than where I'm at, I'm more mindful of how I spend my money. I know a lot of times my friends and family, they might want to see me, might want to hang out or go out to different places. But for me, because I have a specific goal in mind, I can't always go when they want to go. I can't always hang out when they want to hang out. And it just seems like I'm more isolated now, but I'm more driven. I'm more focused on my goals at this point. That doesn't mean we can't hang out here and there, but unless it's about what I'm on and the track that I'm on, the lane that I'm in right now, it's going to have to wait. And it's not personal. It's really not personal. I'm on this journey and I know what I want. I know what I'm going after. And I don't have time to be doing things to where I'm spending all this money and then I'm regretting it later because I should have been saving up for this, or I need this, or should have invested it in this. Instead, I'm like, all right, well, let me just splurge real quick. No. You know, there's a time and place for that. And one of the things that I will say that has helped me is having mentors, having people that I can look up to who are doing it and are doing it well and who I've learned from. So one of the people is Robert Kiyosaki, where he talks about Rich Dad Poor Dad and his experiences with having both, right? And what he clung to and what he attributed to, and who he is today is based on both of those dads, the rich one and the poor one, because he learned from both of them, right? And so one of the things that I learned from his book was, you know, a lot of people, they want to show what they got when they have it. You know, they're splurging, they're doing these different things, but behind closed doors, they're really broke and they're just showboating. But when you're actually making money from your assets and you are lowering your liabilities, once you have generated enough income so that you don't have to spend out of your pocket, the money that you're generating from your assets will pay for the things that you want. And so sometimes you just gotta wait a little bit longer to get the things that you like, but it'll make more sense because you're not putting yourself in a financial bind. All right, so he's one of the mentors that I've been researching over the years. There's been a lot of people. That's one thing that I would suggest to you, is that if you want to level up in your finances, to get a financial coach, get some mentors, get some people that's going to help you along the way. Because if you are going in blind, you're going to get just what you're seeing, nothing. All right, you're going to be all over the place and you're going to be making mistakes and risky things that you don't necessarily have to take if you have somebody that's helping you, that knows what they're doing. All right, don't just trust anybody. Vet everybody first. All right, so now this person is someone who I have looked into as well. Now, this can go either way, but there's a book called Secrets of a Millionaire Mind by T. Harv Eker. I would recommend that you get that book because it taught me a lot about how to look at jobs, how to look at 9-to-5s, and also what to do with your money and how people who are very wealthy separate their money or spend their money, or what they actually do with it and how they make it work for them. So this is something along those lines. So check this out.
Welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. My name is Marco and I'm here to help you master your money and build your wealth. Today we're talking about how to manage your money using the 50-30-20 rule. But before we get into the video, I just want to show you very quickly a screenshot here of a poll that I ran about 2 weeks ago. So we have a lot of new subscribers to this channel, which is great, and about 834 of you voted on this poll, which is awesome. So basically that poll is just asking what kind of videos you want to see from this channel, and 30% of you said personal finance related. 22% said stock market, 18% said cars, 17% want to learn more about real estate investing, and 13% said how to make money online. But the encouraging thing is that most of these comments from this poll were people saying they wanted to learn about all these things. So thank you so much to those who did vote and contribute, and that's why I want to talk about personal finance in this video today. So you may be wondering what the 50-30-20 rule is. So as always, let's write this down so we can get a visual representation of what this means. So pretend that we have a pie right here, and half of this pie, which is the 50%, actually stands for your needs. So again, this is all about budgeting and understanding where your money is going and an ideal personal budget portfolio. So 50% are needs. Let's call this 30% are going to wants, and then 20% is going to savings or paying off debt. So now that you have a visual representation, let's break down each one of these numbers and give you examples of each so that you can be gauging your own personal finance based on these metrics. Keep in mind, we're working with after-tax dollars, which is called net income. So you may have a gross pay of, let's say, 50 grand a year, but after taxes, you're only dealing with another specific number. We're using that after-tax dollar number. So in terms of the 50% needs, what are some things that can be included in this? So let's think about regular living expenses. So we have groceries, we have housing, whether you have a mortgage or rent, you have insurance for health. Heaven forbid something happened to you, I would consider health insurance definitely a need. You can have utilities, so electricity, things like that, etc., etc. So the way I define a need is that it's basically something that would greatly inconvenience you or something that you literally cannot live without. So food, shelter, things like that. So when you budget 50% towards your needs, remember that those are what you're looking at. So the next logical area to go into is going to be what is really considered a want. And I think this is where most Americans run into the difference between wants and needs, okay? So a want is something that causes a minor inconvenience in your life, okay? It's not necessarily a need to where, hey, if I don't eat or if I don't have shelter, I may die, right? A want is something where it's like, hey, you know, am I willing to give a minor inconvenience like dropping Netflix or not having Hulu or not buying a brand new grill to grill a steak on? You know, those are needs, okay? So some of the things that would fall under this category would be things like shopping. You absolutely need to shop for brand new clothes right this second. Are you going to drop dead if you don't get a new pair of shoes? Maybe my wife will, but I know that I can survive. You know, dining out. I think this is a big one for Americans. A lot of people, for whatever reason, their lifestyles are so busy that, you know, it's easier just to jump in the car and go grab something to eat rather than preparing the food yourself. Hobbies. So I think that everyone should definitely have a hobby. That's one of the greatest joys of life, whether it's gardening, you know, you fly drones, you're a video editor, whatever you want to do, whatever keeps you happy as a hobby, this definitely falls under a want because it's not necessary to live. So again, guys, a want is something that you don't necessarily need, but it improves the quality of your life greatly. So let's go to the last 20%. And I know a lot of this sounds basic, but until you actually write this down and understand where all your money is going to, it's like your wants can easily creep into that needs category to where they're both overflowing and you're in debt every month. So speaking of debt, let's talk about savings, okay? So savings and paying off debt. This is where the last 20% of your income should go to. And again, these are all net numbers. So if you have, let's say for example, an emergency fund, okay? This I would consider savings. What I like to do for emergency funds, this is 6 to 12 months of living expenses. So if you know that your needs category and a little bit of wants comes out to be, let's say $2,000 a month for your entire family, you know that you need to save about $12,000 to $24,000 in your emergency fund. I know that sounds like a lot of money, but you know, 1 or 2 layoffs in a family of 1 or 2 income earners, that can really save your butt right there, you guys. Obviously, paying off debts. So if you have credit cards, student loans, things like that, these are debts that you should just smash using that 20%. And I will make another video about how to actually pay off debt using the debt avalanche and the debt snowball method. Okay? And then obviously, if you want to save for retirement, in my opinion, this is one of the things that most Americans will be suffering from 20, 30 years from now, because a lot of them are just not focusing on retirement savings. So I know a lot of this stuff sounds like common sense, you guys, but until you actually create a monthly budget, knowing what your monthly net income is, breaking it down by 50, 30, and 20%, you would be surprised at where different dollars go for different categories. So unless unless it's not a want or a need, I would definitely put it under this 20% savings and debt category. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I know that this may not be some earth-shattering information, but again, until you actually write it down and understand where every single one of your after-tax dollars is going, you might be surprised. So I know this video is a little bit on the shorter side, but again, it's very important information. So if you have a friend or family member who would benefit from it, please share it with them. I implore you. A lot of people are getting a lot of benefit from these videos, and I don't ask for anything in return, just that you share it. Thank you so much, everybody, and have a prosperous day.
Okay, so what did you think about that? All right, so this is something that I've heard over the years, and it fluctuates between different percentages. So one thing that I've read in The Richest Man in Babylon, Robert Kiyosaki, and so many other people is pay yourself first. Put that first 10% to the side for you so that you can have that for you. This is something that I've been doing myself. But in that video, he talked about the 50-30-20 rule. I've heard 70-20-10 rule. It depends, right? It all depends on your schedule and how you actually manage your money. If you're able to do different things, you might have to adjust the percentages to fit your needs. But in this case, the 50% goes to your needs, the 30% goes to wants, and 20% goes to saving. In the book that I mentioned earlier with T. Harv Eker, he spoke about having multiple bank accounts, where one can be your spending fund, one is your savings fund, one is your investment fund, where if you want to go to seminars, if you want to go to different places, that will be strictly for that. One can be for bills. However you want to do it, you could do it that way. This is something that I've adopted myself, where I've created different accounts for different things. So some things don't get touched, like the retirement fund doesn't get touched. The spending fund is specifically just for that. The savings fund is just for that. Investment fund just for that. So however you want to do it, right? This is one way, is just prioritizing your needs over your wants. Now, something I've learned over the years is a need is something that you can't go without for 6 months. If you can go without it for 6 months, it's a want. All right, so that's something that you can use if you are interested in that. All right, so we're still on mentors, right? So something that I've learned, especially coming into the business field and being more business minded than I was, I started attracting more people who were on my journey, who started before me, and just really wanting to learn and try to be the best that I can be in my field. A lot of businesses crumble because they don't have that sturdy foundation. And what they say, you gotta have money to make money. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to have a lot, but you can get there if you do it the right way. And so this next clip is one of my mentors that I have connected with during COVID. I saw a lot of her videos, saw her story and how she came up from being married, getting divorced, having nothing, living with her parents, to taking a risk and putting herself out there during COVID, and now she's multi-millionaire more than likely now, because it's been some years, but she's doing her thing. So I think one of the things that will help in this process of obtaining wealth is having the proper routine and really just setting yourself up for success. So check this out.
What is up, y'all? It's your girl Ellie. Welcome back to my channel. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys about the importance of waking up at 5 a.m. And I know y'all gonna want to fight me because it's hard for me to do it even though I've been doing it. But I want to tell you how waking up at 5 a.m. literally changed my life, changed my business, and I believe is one of the key contributing factors that made me a millionaire. So you're gonna want to start waking up early, all right? So grab your notebook, grab a pen, and let's get into these gems.
Ellie talks money to create the better days. Business, money, life, the Ellie way.
All right, y'all, welcome back into the video. So we are talking about how waking up at 5 a.m. changed my life, changed my business, and literally helped me to make $1 million. So let's get right into what this can do for you. Now, number one thing I want to recommend to you guys is to read the 5 a.m. Club, okay? It is such a great book. One of my favorite books. I think I've read it maybe 2 or 3 times by now, and it's just so great. And me as well, I wake up at 5 a.m. anyway, or I'm supposed to, you know, some days, but I generally try my best every single day to wake up at 5 a.m. and that's when I pray. It's my first prayer of the day. So that is already something that is built into my routine. And when I was in the process of scaling my business, I found that having those extra hours in the morning made an instrumental difference in my level of focus, in my ability to get things done, and just overall to be ahead of the day, okay? The saying, the early bird gets the worm, is not just for jokes or for play. It is definitely a huge statement of truth. When you are up early, okay, here's the great thing about being up at 5 a.m. Number one thing that you are able to do is lock in on your day. So I would recommend, do not get up at 5 a.m. and then immediately get on your phone and start scrolling Instagram. Something that I have implemented is the time limits on my phone. So my phone will not even unlock until about 7 a.m. Pacific time. Or certain apps rather will not unlock until about 7 a.m. Pacific time, just to make sure that I am locked in, focused, doing other things that need to be done to maximize my day, such as looking at my to-do list or adding tasks to my to-do list, praying, reading, and if you can, getting in a workout in that first 1 to 2 hours of the day before you get going is a great way to wake up your body, wake up your system, and just allow you to be as productive as possible. As well, if any of you watching this are mothers, waking up at that 5 a.m. time frame, unless you have a newborn, is generally before your kids are awake, and that can be such an instrumental time for us, the parents, to lock in with ourselves, to remind ourselves of who we are, to get in tune with our goals, and to strategize our day. Because we know that once those kids are up, it's time to brush teeth, it's time to do hair, it's time to make breakfast, it's time to get them ready for school. And in the midst of running behind them, it can be very hard to find that time to figure out what you need to do, which is why that early 5 a.m. wake-up call is so very, very key. And some of the ways that this really changed the way I operate in my business is really through my content strategy. I found that by me waking up earlier and me having more time to reflect on the previous day as well as the goals I had for that day, I was able to come up with better content. I was able to conduct some research online and in relates to what questions people have about my industry. So business funding, business credit, women entrepreneurship, scaling a business. And all of that allowed me to write those questions down, get them on my to-do list, and then go into the day already knowing what content to create. So when you can maximize your hours and already have your content out of the way, then you can focus those other hours where people are just starting to wake up and maybe just starting their content on converting, on going live, on answering questions in the DMs, on customer service, and etc. So you've already checked off one huge thing on your list before the rest of the world has gotten started with their day. Because statistically, probably less than 20% of the US population wake up as early as that. And as well, probably less than 10% of other entrepreneurs in your space potentially are waking up at 5 a.m. or before. So this is literally giving you an edge on your competition because you're awake when they're sleeping, okay? Be awake when they're sleeping. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, all right? And some of the ways that waking up at 5 a.m. really increased my income as well, of course, are related to the amount of content I was able to make. Also are related to the fact that I was able to very clearly outline my to-do list. But as well, I often tell you guys to strategize your goals. So if you want to make 100K, then we want to reverse engineer that and divide that 100K by 12. That lets us know how much we need to make a month. Then divide that by 4, which lets us know how much we need to make a week. And then divide that by 7, which lets us know how much we need to make per day. So I found that by waking up earlier, I was able to more accurately look at, okay, how many hours am I up in my working day, which gave me more hours to actually put towards hitting my daily goal. So when I was looking to make maybe $100 a day, I was able to instead start making $300 a day because of the fact that I had gained an extra 2, 3, or 4 hours in that morning time frame that I could use towards scaling my business, making more sales in my business, improving certain systems in my business. And I also want you guys to understand this on a neurological level, and this is why I tell you to read the book, The 5 a.m. Club. On a neurological level, your brain cells, your body, everything is the freshest at 5 a.m. I want you guys to understand something. Our bodies align with sunrise and sunset. So when the sunrise is happening, which typically is usually anywhere between 4:30 to 6 a.m., depending on the time of year, you are in the best position to really maximize the energy and momentum for your day in that time frame. If you guys find that you're currently waking up feeling groggy and sluggish and just unmotivated for the day, do this. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier for the next couple weeks, and then again another 30 minutes until you get to that point where you can comfortably get up out of bed at 5 a.m. I know you will see a big difference in your productivity. This is y'all know I am not going to give you anything that actually doesn't work, and it's so important for you to realize that making money in your business, building wealth, and doing all these things that is my mission to help you achieve. Yes, a part of that is strategy and systems and all of this. However, another huge part of it is your routine, is your lifestyle change. The biggest lesson I've learned is that becoming a millionaire is one thing, but staying a millionaire is a matter of a lifestyle. Becoming one is strategy, but staying one means changing completely who you are in order to stay at that frequency and have that level of consistency and routine and discipline to continue making $1 million. All right? So comment what questions you have down below. Are you already waking up at 5 a.m. right now? And if you are not, what challenges do you have doing it? And if you would like to, how can I help? Let me know if I should do a part 2 on this. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
All right, so that was Ellie. She's somebody that I have been following for some years, and as you can see, she got some wisdom, y'all. Okay, so like I was telling y'all earlier, when I was younger, I didn't really care too much about wanting to have lavish things and wanting to spend my money on frivolous things. But when I got certain money, I would spend it on things that I might want, not necessarily need. I was good at saving, even now. But now that I have a specific purpose and a goal in mind, it's a different ball game. But this part is my favorite part of the show, and we are going to do our mic drop. That's right. We are going to have our mic drop. So I am literally going to tell you basically what you've been hearing this whole time during this episode is have a plan, have a strategy, Set some goals for yourself. If you want better, you have to do better. If you want change, do something different. Can't expect something new to happen if you're continuing in the same routine that you have. Change up your routine. Like Ellie was talking about, wake up earlier, right? And I can attest that the earlier I wake up, the more productive I am, the more I get done, the more energy I have. Even if I'm tired, even if I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, it feels good because I worked for that. You know what I mean? I did what I had to do for that day, and it felt good to get sleep when I was done. But yes, just really figure out what it is that you want. Have a goal set. Put money to the side. Like, if research, okay, if you know you want to make a certain amount, like she said, break it down into smaller portions so that you know what you need to do. Like she said, if you want to make a certain amount a year, break it down into months, break it down into weeks, and break it down into days. All right, but I hope you all got something from this episode. I appreciate you all for listening in on my journey. I started off just getting money handed to me, to working for it, to now having my own business to where I have to manage what I do. And I'm scaling every chance I get, monetizing, having passive income, increasing that, gaining subscribers, creating content, doing so much. And if I could do it, so can you. All right, so I thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, I hope you have an amazing day. But wait, if you want to stay up to date on all things that we have going on here and under the umbrella of Intelexx Artrepreneur Agency, go to Intelexx.com, connect with us, because we have so much that we have in store, from consultations to books and merch and helping you with content and web design, classes, and so much more. Definitely connect with us because we have something for you. And if you want to stay up to date on all things that we got going on, make sure to join our app, the Artrepreneurs Hub. Click that link on Intelexx.com, or you can download the Mighty Networks app, search the Artrepreneurs Hub, and you will see us there. But until next time, I thank you so much for tuning in. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Okay, so keep it real. What did you think? And be honest, y'all, because I really want to know what y'all think. Honest feedback definitely matters, okay? Share your thoughts about it on the Q&A that's attached to the episode on Anchor or Spotify or Apple or all the amazing platforms. If you're on YouTube, make sure to drop a comment. If you want to share a little bit more, but you don't want to do it on those platforms, make sure to email us so that we can share your thoughts on the show. I want you to remember to love yourself.
I meditate all the time, learn my lesson, turn my blessings into one of a kind. I'm gonna stand up face to face to anything in my way. Mama told me never let my feelings get in the way. I'm waking up like, how the hell can I get better today? I gave myself that confirmation, boy, you already great.
Be true to yourself.
I begin to
And when life starts lifing, life back. But don't forget to life with Lex. Until next time.